All right, welcome. Today we are diving into something that sounds, well, impossible, right? A true clash of titans, the science of salvation.
I mean, that's a huge question right there. It's the kind of thing that starts arguments. But what if? What if we're just looking at it all wrong? What if this isn't about science trying to prove faith? What if it's about science giving us a new way to understand it? That's exactly what we're going to unpack here.
Yeah, the big idea we're digging into is that maybe science and spirituality aren't these warring factions we always imagine them to be. Maybe they're actually two sides of the very same coin. Each one gives us a different language, a fresh set of eyes to make sense of the world and each other. Okay, so here's the game plan for this explainer. First, we'll set the scene with science meets salvation. Then, we're going to get weird with the entangled universe and cosmic consciousness. After that, we'll bring it home with the quantum soul, and then wrap it all up by weaving everything together in a new tapestry. Sound good? Let's go. All right, first up, science meets salvation. So let's just lay the groundwork. How on earth do we even start talking about something like salvation from a scientific point of view? Okay, first things first, let's get on the same page. When we say salvation here, we're not necessarily just talking about one specific religious idea. Think bigger. We're talking about that deep, universal human need for meaning, for purpose, for feeling like there's something more than just this, especially when the world feels so uncertain. It's a search that's been going on forever. And listen, this is probably the most important point we're going to make today, so lean in. We are absolutely not trying to use physics to prove anything about faith. That's not the goal. What we are doing is exploring how the totally mind-bending discoveries in modern physics might give us a new language, a whole new set of metaphors to think about these ancient, incredibly deep human questions. Okay, you're ready? Let's jump into our first big idea. And trust me, this one is a doozy. It comes straight out of the bizarre world of quantum mechanics. We're talking about entanglement. So, what in the world is quantum entanglement? Well, try this on for size. Imagine you have two particles that are linked, like cosmic twins. Once they're connected, whatever happens to one of them instantly affects the other one. And I mean instantly. It doesn't matter if they're right next to each other or on opposite sides of the galaxy. It's this spooky connection that just breaks all the normal rules of space and time. Okay, so you've got this totally weird scientific fact. Now, here's where we take a bit of a leap. The source material we're looking at takes this idea and says, hey, what if this is a metaphor? A really powerful metaphor for a completely different kind of connection, a spiritual one. If you look at it through this lens, you can almost see a spiritual path as a person becoming entangled with something bigger, with the divine or the universe itself. It's a way of thinking about a spiritual bond that isn't limited by physical space or time. It's this deep, immediate connection that kind of mirrors this idea that, at a fundamental level, maybe everything is connected. All right, so we've just looked at the teeny tiny, the impossibly small. Now let's pull the camera way, way back. Let's zoom all the way out to the cosmic level and talk about an even bigger idea, cosmic consciousness. So you know the story, right? It all starts with the Big Bang, this one single point where everything began. And we know the universe has been expanding and evolving for billions of years since. But here's where the source material gets really interesting and a little speculative. It asks, what if all this evolution isn't random? What if it's going somewhere? And that leads to this idea of cosmic consciousness, the possibility that the universe isn't just a bunch of stuff, but that it's actually a living, evolving entity, maybe even with its own purpose. And if you accept that, even as a possibility, it completely changes how you think about salvation. Suddenly, it's not just about my journey, my personal growth anymore. It gets way bigger. Salvation becomes about playing a part, about contributing to the positive evolution of the entire cosmos. Our individual purpose gets wrapped up in the purpose of, well, everything. And just to push this right to the very edge of speculation, the source even brings up black holes. Now, we usually think of them as these giant cosmic vacuum cleaners, right? But what if these bizarre places in the universe that literally bend space and time, what if there's something more? Could they actually be gateways to other realms, to higher states of consciousness? Now, look, that's pure speculation, for sure. But wow, what a fascinating thought. Okay, let's zoom back in again, from the vastness of the cosmos right back down to the self. Let's see how quantum mechanics might give us a new metaphor for understanding the soul. So to get there, we need to wrap our heads around another super weird quantum idea called superposition. The easiest way to think about it is like a spinning coin. While it's in the air, spinning, is it heads or tails? Well, it's neither, and it's also kind of both at the same time. It's only when it lands that it picks one. That's superposition. In the quantum world, a particle can literally be in multiple places or states all at once until we look at it.
So what on earth does a spinning coin have to do with the soul? Well, stick with me here. What if the soul operates a bit like that quantum particle? What if it isn't just stuck in one single point in time and space? This metaphor opens up the idea of a soul that can exist beyond our normal, everyday physical limits, a soul that lives in a state of boundless potential. And in this way of thinking, salvation isn't about being saved from something, but about waking up to something. It becomes this process of realizing our own transcendent nature. It's the journey of understanding our deep, fundamental connection to everything else, and maybe realizing that the hard lines we draw between me and you and that over there, maybe they're just an illusion. Okay, let's head into our final section and try to pull all of this together. We've got these incredible, mind-bending ideas from quantum physics and cosmology. How do we weave them together with these timeless, spiritual questions we've been asking forever?
So let's really put it side by side. The traditional view of salvation is often very personal, right? It's about my meaning, my purpose. But this new physics-informed view, it blows that up. It doesn't get rid of the personal, but it adds these huge new layers. It's also about our role in the evolution of the whole cosmos, our spooky connection to everything, and this idea of a fundamental oneness. And the most important part is, this new perspective doesn't have to replace the old one. It can just add to it, make it richer, deeper. You know, there's a quote from our source material that just says it all perfectly. The idea is to weave together the threads of science, faith, and individual growth into a rich tapestry of meaning and purpose. I just love that. It's not about choosing one or the other. It's about creating a more complete, beautiful picture of what it means to be human. Look, if there's only one thing you take away from all this, please let it be this. None of this was about proving faith with science. It was never about that. It's about finding a new, richer, maybe even more awe-inspiring language to talk about the deepest parts of our human experience. And that really leaves us with one last big question to chew on, doesn't it? If science can give us a new language to explore something as profound and personal as salvation, what else could it help us describe? What other mysteries of the human heart might it help us see in a brand new light? What other amazing tapestries are just waiting for us to weave them?